Shalom family. So this article that I found for you is so exciting for me personally because there's a couple of definites in my mind for this end time period that we're sitting in right now. One of them is the Catholics' belief and Catholic prophecies about the last and final Pope. You can go look into all of that, and Pope Francis ticks all those boxes as the final and last Pope. It makes sense to me if he morphs into the false prophet that works evil signs and wonders and stands next to the Antichrist for that final week and brings together a one world religion, as they have all through the centuries added more and more of other faiths and beliefs and cultures and pieces of their stuff into the faith. I see him as a really good candidate. So in my mind, Pope Francis, last Pope, absolutely. Then Netanyahu, there's a lot of Jewish thought and extra biblical belief systems and prophecies placing that Benjamin as the last one, the one who will hand over power to their Messiah when he comes, which we understand as Antichrist. Now, he's always been very aloof about his belief system. He garners support from the religious, the far right, absolutely, and especially now in this time with this government that he's got going, and he leans on that. He has visited some famous rabbis in his time and stood with them, but he has never allowed himself really to be photographed or shown with anything denoting any sort of massive in-your-face Jewish faith. Even though he's super pro-Israel and speaks pro-Israel, he would come across as a secular Jew pretty much all the time, until now. So I'm going to read you the article, and then we'll talk about it. Netanyahu photographed wrapping Tefillin for the first time. Now, before I read further, Tefillin is the blocks that the ultra-Orthodox wear on their foreheads, and they tie around their right hand. You will tie it as a frontlet between your eyes and to your hand, and that's the Tefillin, right? Acceding to the wish of a grieving mother, the Prime Minister donned the Tefillin that had belonged to her son, a soldier who fell during Operation Protective Edge. On Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu shared the photo on social media depicting himself donning Tefillin, the rare public display for this leader. The image was accompanied by a heartfelt caption saying, "And all the peoples of the earth shall see that the name of the Lord is called upon you, and they shall fear you." Ruchama, the mother of Moshiko Divino, may his memory be blessed, who fell in Operation Protective Edge, brought me his Tefillin. The Tefillin were with him at all times during the battle, and were the only item that survived the explosion in which Moshiko was killed. The smell of gunpowder still remains on the Tefillin case. The Prime Minister's personal relationship with faith has been an object of speculation many times, particularly since he declined opportunities to put on Tefillin in the past. Interesting, right? This was in a trip to London, and he was at a Chabad stand but refused to partake in the ritual. Since October 7's massacre, observers have noted a shift in Netanyahu's rhetoric, with increased mentions of Hashem in his speeches, which is how the Orthodox and ultra-Orthodox refer to God, because drifting away from relationship and having not received your Messiah, you station yourself further and further and further away, to the point where they couldn't say Yahweh, so they put in the vowels to say Adonai when they read the word Yahweh, because it was too holy to pronounce. So it's forbidden. Then they didn't even want to say Adonai, so they've removed themselves another layer. Now they just say the name, Hashem. It's become so impersonal and distant from where God actually wants them, where he knows you face to face as a man knows his friend, and we know each other by name. He calls us by name. There's power in a name. And so now, like the ultra-Orthodox and the Orthodox, he is more and more often referring to Hashem. He's openly letting himself be photographed with Tefillin on his head and on his hand, and he's showing his drift towards his faith. And would that not be perfect for a man in power in Israel at this time to meet their Messiah and being religiously inspired without seeing properly, hand over all power and control to this man and let him rule with a 7-year peace treaty and to bring balance to everybody and calm to all peoples like a Messiah? It's all a perfect setup for me in where we're at on the timeline with God. And it's exciting because it means keep looking up. We leave very soon. Shalom.